Trump just declared a global trade war, and he's targeting allies first. Let's break it down and dive in. Hi guys, welcome back to The Baseline. Thank you so much for joining me today. So let me get this straight. Canada, America's maple syrup loving bestie, just got slapped with a 35% tariff. Switzerland, you know, the neutral country, right? Just got hit with 39%. And somehow China, the so-called biggest threat to democracy, only got 30%. So I'm sorry, is this a trade war or is it becoming more and more of a reality show? Because at this point, Trump's tariff strategy feels like he's spinning a globe, throwing darts blindfolded and seeing which country gets hit. Because this isn't just another Trump tantrum. This is a big, messy shift in the global order. And it's easy to laugh at these headlines, right? But the impact, that's your paycheck, your medicine, your food prices. And here's what's new, right? Trump isn't just going after China. He's punishing US's own allies. So nobody's safe. Now, here's what I want you to think about as we unpack this craziness, right? Why are US allies being punished harder than its rivals? Because is this just economic pressure or the start of something far more dangerous? And how does this tie back to a bigger plan, one that could actually accelerate the rise of BRICS? Because I promise you guys this, what's happening here, it's not random. It's the oldest strategy in the playbook. But first, I want you to imagine that you're at a poker table and everyone's just bluffing around you, posturing, all of that stuff. But there's one guy who keeps raising the stakes. He keeps throwing in all his chips in before the cards are even dealt. And that's Trump. And that's this tariff move. It's not about trade. It's about dominance. It's economic warfare dressed up like policy. Now, that brings us to that ally slaughter, right? But let's talk about Canada first. America's #1 trade partner. Shared borders, shared culture, and now 35% tariff, up from 25% on nearly everything they sell. We're talking about steel, aluminum, car parts, raw materials. Boom! Canada sends about $560 billion in goods to the United States every year. That's 78% of their total exports and a quarter of their GDP. So this isn't just a tariff. This is an economic kneecapping. And the worst part is Canada's industries can't just pivot in 4 months. You can't reroute $500 billion in exports overnight. This is a forced squeeze, a demand to bend the knee. Now, this brings us to the Swiss shock and this Asian shakedown that we're witnessing. Because when Switzerland comes in now, a country so neutral, they don't even argue over dinner. They just got slapped with a 39% tariff. Why? Well, it turns out they export a ton of pharmaceuticals to the US, worth about $10 billion. And now we're about to make life-saving drugs more expensive than ever because of a spreadsheet. And it doesn't stop there. Thailand, Cambodia, Taiwan, all getting hit with 19% tariffs, which is all going to come back on us as a tax. But even though Taiwan is our semiconductor lifeline, we're slapping them with a 20% hike. To be fair, chips are still exempt for now, though. But it's like watching a firefighter set his own house on fire and then demand applause for grabbing the hose. That's very classic Trump. And it's kind of a lunch money strategy, right? And here's where Trump's real play is here. It's the same tactic schoolyard bullies use all the time. Punch first, make demands later, slap you with a tariff, drag you to the table and say, I'll back off, but only if you buy 40 Boeing jets and a lifetime supply of overpriced LNG. It's not negotiation. It's a shakedown. Pay to play economics. And the G7, they're too fractured to push back. And even worse, they're subsidizing their own punishment. Yep, you heard that right. As China dumps U.S. treasuries, guess who's buying them up? Canada, the UK, France, Germany. They're literally funding Trump's trade war against themselves. It's super crazy, guys. And here's the boomerang and where it really starts to backfire. Consumer spending in the U.S. has flatlined. So Q1, Q2 are crawling at less than 1% growth, even worse than peak inflation years. Tariffs aren't clobbering exporters. They're boomeranging, hitting American wallets harder than ever. Prices are rising, suppliers are squeezed, and as trade with allies collapses, BRICS steps in to fill that gap. And we have China and India, we have Brazil. They're watching us fumble the bag and saying, thanks for the customers. And while BRICS used to be a 5 to 10 year threat, Trump might have compressed that into maybe 2 years. I don't know. You guys are going to have to let me know your opinion in the comment section below. But this also now brings us to China and the China gambit. And if we zoom in on the real target, China, Trump's team led by Scott Bessent is trying to corner Beijing. But here's the thing again, the Chinese aren't blinking. Bessent's sweating on camera like he's trying to bluff Xi Jinping with a pair of fours. But I believe we have the makings of a deal, is what he's saying. And it sounds like he's praying. And the supposed win here, a $5 billion reduction in the China trade deficit. That's less than 2% of the $300 billion imbalance. It's smoke and mirrors. And here's the kicker. If the United States drops China's tariffs rate to 20%, you've just insulted every ally taking a 35 to 40% hit. So now you're boxed in. You can't go forward without backlash. You can't retreat without humiliation. So what happens next? And that's always the question, right? Trump's trying to remake global trade by brute force. But the world, it's adapting, and it's adapting super fast. I mean, BRICS is rising, allies are retreating, and United States consumers are stuck footing the bill. But none of this matters if we don't talk about what happens when China finally strikes back and uses its real leverage. Forget trade. Think rare earths. Think technology. Think global banks. That's the next war. And trust me, it's not going to be fought with spreadsheets. So stay tuned for our upcoming episodes, guys. We're going to dive even deeper into China's counterstrike plans and why it could collapse the dollar overnight. And I want you guys to drop your comments in the section below. Do you think I have this all wrong? Or do you think Trump just overplayed his hand? Or is he 5 steps ahead of everyone and playing that 4-dimensional chess? Let me know what you guys think. And once again, guys, thanks for watching The Baseline. I really appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next round. Cheers, everybody.